So I guess traditionally wise, I can't think of any traditions, you know, like basic ones other than, you know, celebrations and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was just whatever you guys were capable of doing, I would let you. And even if it turned out to not work out as well as you were hoping, you still had a basic understanding, so that by the time you were old enough, like you filled out your own FAFSA form. I didn't have to do that.
That's true.
I can't even count all the parents. Oh, I still have to do my son's FAFSA. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah, isn't he 18?
Yeah, and I told him, I said, if my kid can't fill out that form, he doesn't deserve to go to college, or should even be going if he can't handle that form. So, yeah,
that's true enough. That was a pretty easy form by comparison to writing a 10-page essay on something.
Oh,
so.
yeah, and you'd be surprised. You know, parents are doing this and doing that. And I'm like, this kid's going to college, right? You know, shouldn't they be doing this? But I would just be looked at as like this horrible parent that didn't care. You know, I'm like, I care more than you do, obviously. I want to make sure my kid knows how to function.
It sounds like one of those things where the forest gets missed for the trees, or however they say it, where people focus so much on little details and improving their kid's life, they're forgetting the overall goal of trying to make him independent and
right.
self.
I don't know if that is the goal, though. Well, maybe the goal is to make them into somebody that is so impressive that they get all the accolades for. Yeah. That's what I think it is.
It's interesting.
I don't want my kid to fail. They can't fail doing this, so I need to do it.
It would make me look bad.
Yeah, it would make me look bad, where I had no problem looking bad. I was like, you know, this is, my goal was truly to help you guys become more independent and function in a world, because the world was not going to acquiesce to you. It was you were gonna have to learn how to deal with the problems, and if that was considered mean and, you know, uncaring to the rest of the world, then so be it, you know.
Yeah. I was
my
a lot
kid
of these.
Just be more prepared than yours.
A lot of these ideas are kind of high-minded, and I feel like abstractly everyone can agree with them. Is there anything that you did daily to help to remind yourself of your ideas, or were they just naturally exuded through all of your actions?
I think I knew from the time you guys were born until you were 18, it is a slow but constant phase of letting go.
Yeah.
You go from having this newborn is totally dependent on you, and pretty soon they can hold their head up, so you don't have to hold your hand behind them. And then they know how to sit up and walk and all that kind of thing. And with that comes a severing. You know, the severing is because you're like this.
Yeah.
And the severing is just like really slow, and then pretty soon it's like this person is their own person, and they need to handle their own business and learn themselves what's going to happen if they do a certain thing. I could sit there and lecture you guys all day long on why speeding is a bad idea, but it wasn't until you had to pay these fines and in Chris's case, and Nat's, go to community service and everything else to get them to slow down, that the lessons are really learned. And that's when you just pull back and go, hey, you know, you're going to be an adult in so many years, and this is how it works for us adults. You know, we don't get our hands held, and lecturing never works anyway. And so when Chris would call and complain about this latest ticket or whatever, I'd go, man, that sucks.
That sounds like a pain in the ass.
Yeah, boy, that sounds like a pain in the butt. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to court either, you know, instead of what would be the normal recourse of most parents. Well, you shouldn't have been doing that, and that's what you get. And
right, trying to turn themselves.
Mine was more like, it sucks to be you, you know. Maybe he'll figure it out.
Yeah, like we are trying to do these things so our kids don't, run into the problems that they do, but at the same time, like, what better way to learn than when they run into it? So as long as it's not like life-altering, like cocaine or something.
Sure.
In general.
Yeah, I mean, you try to interfere as less as you can, and they're more apt to listen to you. If you're just going to lecture and go on and on like that, kids are just going to go, I've heard this before like a million times.
Yeah.
Rather than just, empathize and go, wow, that blows. and resist the temptation of saying, yeah, you shouldn't have been speeding, that's why it happened,
Right.
They already know why. They don't need you to say that.
Or trying to pay their fines for them or something.
Right, yeah, jumping in and doing that. I remember probably the most traumatic one that I remember was you. When you got, I don't remember, oh, it was a fender bender. Bumped into somebody.
Yeah, probably.
You had to pay what was it? You had to take a class that cost $50. You lost a day of pay because you had to do it on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I remember you just were just like, oh, this is horrible.
I think that was the speeding ticket, though. I'd gotten a lot of speeding tickets, and I think the rule is on a provisional license, you can't have more than two points on your license or anything.
Right.
And for most people, I think maybe the adult rule is 2 points, but as a provisional license, it's like 1.
Right.
You have to go to traffic training course. It's 7 hours long. You pay
Right.
$150 to go there. You lose a day of pay, and there's no sleeping, or you have to retake a class. Or
yeah, it was bad. I remember you just being traumatized by that, especially the losing the day of pay at work.
Yeah.
And I don't remember saying anything other than that sucks to you.
Yeah, it did.
Although the temptation to start going, yeah, it's too bad you didn't listen to me. I keep
Just want
telling
to remind you how right I am.
Yeah. You really have to squelch that down because it's hard not to say that.
Yeah.
So that's why you just go, wow, that sucks.
Well, why don't you say that? Like, what?
Because you guys would just turn off to it anyway, and you wouldn't tell me anything. This way, I know what's going on because you know there's no judgment.
Yeah.
Because that's when kids start hiding things from you, is when they feel that you're not approachable and they're just going to get lectured or bawled out or whatever.
Yeah.
They already know, that they screwed up. They already got yelled at by whoever, and you don't really need to jump on that bandwagon, too.
Yeah.
They already feel bad enough,
Yeah, the punishment's already applied.
Right. There was something that Jeff had asked me about that Kathleen had gotten in trouble for, and why didn't I get on her about it? I said, she's already been punished. She has to pay this money. Oh, it was a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
She has to pay $180. I'm not paying it. I already told her. Ooh.
Yeah.
Not my deal. And she was already upset by it, and there was no reason. What would be the reason for me to jump on her about it? It was already bad enough. But see, that's when a lot of parents really blow it, when they just go. It's almost like this opportunity, really get down. Yeah, I told you not to do that. You never listened to me.
I guess it would be hard not to refrain from doing that when feeling so justified in what you're saying,
Right.
knowing that they blow you off anyway.
Sure, and that's the thing, is you can't take getting blown off all personally. It's like, yeah, you didn't listen to me, and look what happened. And once in a while, like was it yesterday? Chris and I had dinner because he accepted that managerial job.
Yeah.
And Chris, people are telling him how great he is and all this. I said, don't you just hate it when I'm right like that? I've been telling you from day one that I think you're so brilliant and all this stuff, and you were just like, you have to say that, you're my mother. I'm like, no, I don't. I can just sit here and be quiet and not say anything.
And go, that's nice, dear.
Right. I'm not going to, I told him, I said, I will never say anything to you guys that I don't mean, that I don't feel, just to blow sunshine up your skirt. Because that's like, setting a kid up for failure. Oh, yeah, you're so brilliant at this when you're really not.
Yeah.
And so every once in a while I'll throw that. Gee, I hate it when I'm right. Must suck to have this perfected mother that knows everything. Of course, it's all done in jest, and everybody knows I don't think that. But yeah, I got that a lot. You have to say that. You're my mother. I'm like, I know a lot of moms who don't say that stuff.
Indeed. Yeah.
But I think the purpose in that is just to keep the lines of communication open. Because if your kid doesn't think that he can say something and you're just going to jump down his throat, yeah, he's going to tell you nothing.
Yeah.
And he's going to think you're a bitch on top of it. So
I think this will probably be the last question, unless there was other things you wanted to discuss. But did you ever feel depressed, and if so, what did you do to pull yourself out of it?
I probably did when I was younger more often than I do now. And the thing that always pulls me out is to do something for somebody else. Plan, make a project. I want to pick somebody that I want to do something for.
Yeah.
In other words, just get out of your own head.
Yeah.
If you're depressed, and you're depressed a lot, you're thinking too much about yourself.
Right.
And you need to get out of that and do something nice for somebody else.
Yeah.
That always works. But I don't suffer from that, fortunately.
I guess technically, depression's a clinical term. We should probably refer that to more refer to this more as being bummed out. 'Cause as far as I know, I don't think you've ever been clinically depressed.
No, I think the most downtime I had, where I really had to just pull everything out of me that I had to stay on top of things, was when I found I was pregnant with you. Because I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, this cannot happen. I had sex like one time last month. This is all a terrible mistake. And I remember just going for weeks before I even got tested. I'm like, I'm not pregnant. No
This
way.
is totally normal. I always throw up all the time.
This nauseousness that I'm feeling. And at that same point in time, Dad had, I think he'd gotten first chair or something. He'd gotten whatever pinnacle that he wanted to get. And he just immediately went into, oh my God, now I have this, now I have that. He never could enjoy anything nice that happened to him without immediately going into worry mode. And I remember him coming home one night and just bitching up a storm about something. And I remember just going out to the car. I was like, I can't listen to you a second longer. And I sat out there and I was just crying. I was like, okay, I got to figure out a way to get through this. And he came out and he goes, why are you sitting out here? I said, I cannot listen to one more complaint come out of your mouth, okay? You've gotten everything you've ever wanted. I'm pregnant again. I'm not ready. And I have to figure out how to turn this around and get my head together. And I can't do that listening to you, all the time. And he goes, I'm sorry, I know I bitch a lot. I'm like, just go back in the house, shut up, and leave me alone for a few minutes. And it wasn't long after that. I was like, okay, I can do this. You know, it's just, and Emily came at a weird time too, but somehow I was able to handle that, mainly because Jay was already really easy to take care of. Where I wanted to have 5 kids, you just came a little sooner than I was planning. Yeah, it's just that was a difficult moment, but in time. But it only lasted a few weeks, and then I was like, okay, time to make another quilt.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that was kind of how you kept yourself level on a day-to-day basis, was through your crafts and learning new things like
You
that.
have to have other stuff going on in your life, whatever it is. If all you have is kids and housework, you're going to go nuts really quick, because those things are very repetitive, and it makes your life feel like nothing ever gets accomplished, because you've done laundry all day long, and at the end of the day there's 2 more left, because everybody shed their clothes, and you have to have other things, especially when your kids grow up. You're going to be like delirious with nothing to do, and you're like, and that's when you're one of those clean mothers that don't go. So it's life is a challenge all the way around. But I'm so glad I had you.
I'm glad you didn't abort me.
No, that would never have happened. No, you were this little teddy bear that I was so happy to have. I just had to get my head around it at the right time.